Hi friends. Hey friends. Today we are going to break down one of the most confusing but most important topics in machine learning: supervised, unsupervised, and the reinforcement learning. I know this table is right now might look like a little bit difficult at the first, but don't worry. But at the end of the sessions, you will understand each of these clearly with a real life example. So right now we are dive into step by step way. So first here we are going to start by the data type of supervised and supervised and the reinforcement learning. Okay, first first we want to let's talk the data type of like let's talk about the data is type of the learning uses. Okay, in supervised learnings, we use the label data. Use the labels data. That means we already know in there, we already know the answer. For example, think of a bunch of emails that are already marked as a spam or not a spam. The computer look at these examples and learn the difference. Okay, I think we should right now go to the unsupervised learnings. Okay, in unsupervised learning, the data is unlabeled. What I mean by that? We don't actually give the computer any answer at all. It has to figure things out on its own. Like this computer have to find the answer by itself. You can imagine that looking at a group of people at a party, and you don't know who's who, but you start grouping them based on the behaviors or interest. That's how actually the unsupervised learning is working. Okay, and the last, in the reinforcement learning, it's not about labels at all. Okay, what we previously see in a supervised and unsupervised learning, but in the reinforcement learning, there is no any relations with the labels. So we don't think about the labels. So instead, in this reinforcement learnings, the data comes from actions and rewards. Okay, it's more like a trial and error. You can imagine that the computer does some things that gets rewards. If it's right or penalized, if I mean if it's makes some things wrong, it got punished, and if it's do something right, it got reward. So from the next time this machine or computer is don't want to get punished like human, because he learned that if I take these actions, I am going to be punished. If I take this action, I am going to be rewarded. So something this kind of way in a reinforcement learnings machine learn. Okay, now we are going to talk about the core goals, supervised, unsupervised, and the reinforcement learnings. So in the supervised learnings is goals to predict the outcomes, like predicting if an email is a spam, or predicting the house price like that way. So in unsupervised learnings, goal is to discover the hidden patterns. For example, like a store might want to group a customers into the categories gamers, like parents, students, even without knowing that beforehand. We can do that. Like if someone is going to understand these unsupervised learnings, that we don't know about initially anything, because it don't have any labels with it, and machine does the same, but it can find the pattern. Based on some features, some things like that. And in a reinforcement learning, its main goal is figure out the best actions to take. Think of teaching a robot to play games. The goal is to make it a win by making a good moves, as I told you before that. Okay, now we are going to talking about the learning style, how actually this machine is learning. Okay, in supervised is a direct correction style. Supervised learning is a learn the direct correction style. If a model make a mistake in a supervised learnings, we can directly tell it, no, that is wrong. Here is a correct answer, because in a supervised learnings, we told you before that there is a also questions and also an answer. So if machine is predicting something wrong way, they can go back and again check and make the corrections. Okay, in unsupervised learning, it actually in unsupervised like is more like a self explorations. Like it's took a data and try to group or organize by itself. It's based on different kind of categories, different kind of features, but initially it don't know anything about the object. Anything about the object, I mean that if you pile up, there is like apples, banana, etc., foods, but initially the machines don't know what the name of this, but it can guess based on the food size, the shape. So it's categorized by the shapes, by the size. In that way, in unsupervised learning, it's working. And the reinforcement learning, it is a pure trial and errors. I told you before that it's a pure trial and error. I mean that just like when we learn to ride a bike, we can consider you fail again, try again, fail again, try again. It's like you want to figure out how I actually successfully ride the bike. So you fail, you learn, and then you try again. You fail, you learn, and then you try again, like that way. Okay, now we are going to the key tasks of these three models. All right, so in supervised learnings is it's a great for actually the classification and the regressions. That's just a fancy way to saying it's like you can consider the classifications predicting category like spam or not spam. In the example we learned from mark out or predicting the emails. Yeah, I told you before. So in the regressions model, we predicting the numbers like the price of a car, price of a house. Okay, so in the unsupervised learning is mainly for clusterings and the segmentations. It helps to group the similar things together, like customers or even song on the Spotify that sound alike, or this is a categoricals, the same kind of song we found every day in the Spotify. What actually we doing every day. And the reinforcement learnings, what the key takes of it, like it's a perfect things like control, like perfect things like control and game playings, teaching an AI to drive a car safely, or teaching to a bet humans in chess, bet human in the chess, all using the reinforcement learnings. Okay, so in the reinforcement learning, we actually trying to teach the machines by giving the punishment, like that you can say, because when his machine got punished, I told you again before, I told that when the machines get punished for some of these actions, it's don't do the same things and don't want to get punished like human. We always want to win, always want to reward. So machine learn in the reinforcement learning based on the actions and the reward. Okay, now we go to the example one, the most important, the most interesting. I actually want to say that in the example part, in Supervised learnings, I told you before, it actually uh, working on working with the label data. So in real life, email spam detections. So you feed the models a lot of example labeled spam or not spam, and it's learned to predict the future emails. Okay, so in the futures, if something some email is coming, and it have the same features or same kind of labels with the previous mails have for detecting the spam. If the futures email have the same things, then the machines easily can predict it this email is also spam. And at the same way, if previously machine learns by identify the not spam emails by which features or which way it's find the same things, the same features in the new upcoming mail, it will predict it and sort it out into the not spam file. Okay, so in in unsupervised learning, grouping customer into the like different types without telling this computer what does the group should be, it just find the pattern itself. It's don't know about anything here about the customers. But there is a like you can imagine that uh, in a shopping malls there is so many people's there, like some group of people is spending too much money for buying the expensive things. There is other kind of people only uh, trying to find out little bit of discount product. Okay, so you can categorize them and label them and find the patterns from this kind of data. I mean that from these customers, from the shopping mall, how they actually do the shoppings based on that. Okay, in the reinforcement learning and and like AI learning to play a video games. At first, it's terrible, but every time it's win or loss, it learns and a little betters until it can beat the humans. Okay, like that's actually the beauty of the reinforcement learnings. It learned from the experience, not from answer we give. So if we recap again, the supervised learning use the label data, predicts outcomes, learn with direct corrections. Example, spam detections. And unsupervised learnings use the unlabeled data, find hidden patterns, and learn by itself. And explorations, example like customer segmentations. And the reinforcement learning, it actually use the actions and reward and decide the best actions. Learn by trial and error. Example, we can take AI playing a game only trying to win the game. So that is the difference in on short and so quick way. I know maybe I make a mistake, so forgive me for that, but I try to make you feel understand. So goodbye.